Life for All presents Daily Food Series, Word, Life, and Edification, Part 2. Title of Book 2, Do You Want to Receive Jesus' Care? By Pedro. Week 4. The Good Shepherd gives his life for the sheep. Thursday. The voice of the shepherd of the sheep. Read with prayer. And they shall be all taught by God. Therefore, everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. John chapter 6, verse 45. In the Gospel of John, Jesus presents himself as the door for God's sheep. All who apparently cared for his sheep and did not enter by him are thieves and robbers who usurped the sheep for their own benefit. We can see in the Old Testament some prophecies against the shepherds of the people of Israel. They were shepherds that did not defend the sheep or take care of them, but took advantage of their condition for profit and their own well-being. Ezekiel chapter 34, verses 2 to 4. However, Jesus revealed that he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. John chapter 10, verses 2 and 3. Jesus Christ is the door and is also the shepherd of the sheep. When he arrived on earth, many rejected him and did not receive his word. They went so far as to arrest and kill him. However, some sheep recognized his voice. The man born blind in the 9th chapter of John's Gospel was one of them. He was cast out by the Pharisees, but the Lord called him, and he recognized that Jesus was the shepherd who led the sheep out of the fold. Continuing on, we read, And when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. John chapter 10, verse 4. This is what is currently happening. We follow because we recognize the voice of the Lord himself speaking his prophetic word. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. We follow the word because, when we hear it, we hear the shepherd's voice and identify him as the Lord speaking. This is why you who are reading this devotional remain in the church, because the shepherd's voice gives you direction. Today, some do not understand the meaning of what the Lord is saying, in the same way that they did not understand the words that he, as a man, spoke 2,000 years ago. John chapter 10, verse 7. In the 6th chapter of the Gospel of John, we read, No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, They shall all be taught by God. Therefore, everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. John chapter 6, verses 44 and 45. Who are those whom the Father gave to draw near to the Son? They are those sheep that, by recognizing the shepherd's voice, follow him through his words and are taught by him. If we associate this excerpt with the context of the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, we will see that we are the people who love the Lord with all of our heart, with all our soul, with all our strength, because we are those who have heard and learned from the Lord and have kept in our hearts what we were taught. The Lord has taught us to instill his word in the hearts of our children. Verses 5 to 7. As we have obeyed him by immersing ourselves in the word with our children to inculcate it in their hearts, it can be said that we are those taught by God as we have heard and learned what is said by the Father. Note that the passage cited is not addressed to all Christians, but to those who have learned from the Father and inculcate the Word because they believe in it and obey it with simplicity. They are undoubtedly those whom the Father brought to Jesus. Our teenagers have had the experience of instilling the Word in their hearts. They immerse themselves in the Word day and night by continually hearing the voice of the Lord. Some even speak the Word in their sleep, since they are so used to hearing Him. They certainly discern when a voice is different from that of the shepherd, and know how to distinguish the prophetic word from a strange speaking. Praise the Lord. Write the sentence that touched your heart the most. Highlight the key points in the sentence. Pray according to the content highlighted above.